What's in a name? What do they say about a people, their culture, or places? Names hold a significant value in our lives. They are who we are, the mark of our identity, and each name is special and unique in its own way. Place names are meaningful societal and cultural symbols that reflect how people understand and interpret their environment. Names construct places. They are a repository of a people's memory and chronicles their history and gives us an insight into their past experiences.
We look at events or historical events which would have happened. Like in naming places, it could be a place where something could have happened and people would say, so and so fought a war at this place. Or just looking at a landmark or a geographical feature, a landmark, which is so intriguing and very interesting to the people, and they name that place due to that geographical feature which is there. So names come from the environmental or geographical features which are present in that place, as well as historical events which people have gone through, remembering those historical events by naming the places which it could have happened.
In northwest Zimbabwe lies a place called Binga, a place rich in cultural and toponymic history.
The Tonga people got no record of written history, though there are some researchers who came up with some documentation of the origins of the Tonga people. The Tonga people are part of the Bantu migration which happened way back, probably could say in the 17th century. These are the group of people who were moving from the great regions of the equatorial regions, moving from the north down southwards. So the Tonga people are part of that group of people who migrated from the East African regions of the equatorial region, moving through countries like Tanzania, Kenya, Malawi, up to landing to Zambia, where eventually they migrated and found the perennial supply of water at the Zambezi River, where they eventually colonized that river and settled on both banks of the river. So when we talk about names, we shouldn't forget the people. So on the northern side, the Tonga people interacted with the Lozi and the Makololo people. Then on the southern side, they also interacted with the Lambia and the Ndebele people. So in terms of naming, you don't name yourselves, but you are named by other people. So places take names of people as well as geographical features of places which people come across.
The name Binga is synonymous with the Batonga people along the Zambezi Valley. Human geographers agree that spaces are transformed into places through human interactions and activities in that particular space, thereby leading to the naming of the place. Apart from identifying a place, names also provide an insight into the people who belong to that particular place, the environment, and geographical features found. How did the place called Binga attain its name?
Kwakali mupulisa wa chikomisi wa utegwa ngunkani. Ngusianene uzgalabama. Bakalunga ibome ili kuzwa kugokwe. kati zokhala omuno mu busena butegwa Binga. Eri izina lyagamba kuti Binga utangona bakachikhalekwa manjolo kuti baliuzike izina lyabulika konkukuzozo kuno gainka kuogwa kutegwa kukanika mutumba kumugwagoya ku rest camp kumbira yakuchija yazozano kuti ubedere na bomana niliyakasika wano bakati mpotula ati zikani izina aelino district tuliti ngwani bamwe bakatedi tulati kanika mutumba manje makuwa bakakachilwa kulya ambobo tuzina kutegwa kanika mutumba bakati anitako mwina simwami bakati ngusikalenge sikalenge lyakakachila lubo yokutedi sikalenke yabachila kupronounce makuwa kuti anitako mwina umbi mwami ula afwifu kuzoti no kuli mwami utegwa ngubinga so makuwa lubo lyakakachila kuti bati Binga kuzoti ngubinga pimpompo akazozida izina lyamba kuti Binga kalyamba busenobo kamba ono kuitedi noni busena bwa Binga mbupati buzwa kumugano kuchitete kulupani buzwa kumugano kukariba buzwa kumugana wange
so kaka pangu doba ntukulisigale ngalagwe nkonkonko kutegwa zotegwa ngubinga poni azotegwa ngubinga kuzozwa lino wazoba mutukedo muno yategwa matuli kubinga yonse nombizwa bonke bami ababali 17 watuga bonse bali muchisi cha boma lya Binga bantu bakapambudwa kulini kulisigale ngambakategwa Binga yebo bakabingobo mpo yabazina wababinga
kuti Binga nkuti be upronounce kwamugwa yobe yalutegwa syalu Binga zakapedekwa mbobo ilwiso bakala abantu wakaliko kuzomwanyi kupera kusigalenga asyansali kozi yakuli basinjira now sigalenge ndakabona kuti bantu bafula bamuvulira bakazotola mulombago wamutiwe mweko bingulula awo mulwizi mubakali kutela wayandazi izinjo iziba kubali kutegera zito wakabala zito wati soso zosikawa kubingulula gotolo.
Place naming is one of the ways of making unfamiliar places become familiar. In order to make new environments look familiar, people usually use the languages to name places and or give the places the names from their history and culture. During the colonial period, Europeans gave landscapes in Rhodesia place names that resonated with their historical experiences. Several places were named after historical figures of the colonial experience, or the British royal family, or some places in Europe. They also corrupted African place names as a way of giving them a European flavor. This was another way of making unfamiliar places become familiar. But when it came to Binga, the colonialists found it important to name the place after one of the 17 traditional chiefs.
During that time, we have Chief Sikaleng, who had also had his own chieftainship, settling on the banks of the river, and he is one of the people who was also relocated to new places. So it is during that time that, because they realized he had a big population of people, so he had to choose one of the prominent guys under himself to lead a certain group of people to go and create another chieftainship. So he was told to drive. In Tonga we say Binga, meaning to drive. So that man drove the group of people and started a new kingdomship. Then when the administration started building their centers of development, because of this man was so cunning and very clever, he was so clever that he was so close to became famous and close to the white administration, and they did take and liked him, and eventually they took him to be senior chief, and eventually they to name when they started building the town of Binga. They named after his name, Binga in Tonga, but it was corrupted now to the white men could say Binga and they ended up saying Binga. So eventually that name grew up and the whole district is now known as Binga, simply because of that famous man who was close and who was liked by the white men because of his intelligence.
Place names, as a repository of a people's memory, direct us to what is historically important. Memory can be personal or communal. These memories are their historical experiences. Therefore, names help to read the history of a people. The name Binga is closely tied to the history and experiences of a man who would eventually be Chief Binga.
Gwami gwa Binga bwagazwa buli sikalenge wagapa mwani gagwe tobola syansoa izina lya Binga mbantu mbagapegwa gabatola ogo kubusera nkwaga kupegwa kutagabe mwami kuyabu Bingo gya bibomba gazwa ni nickname yakuyabu Binga bantabe kuyosika kubusera okubagali kwaga kuba mwami tesi bagali kugaga bagategwa mbaba bantu tola ugabe mwami ogo
Binga inkawo
bantu mbaga pedwe bagali bantu bapati badala amajembere byoku kuli amba inifu Binga magando tobola chanso wali mwani ke kulisigale
ina sigalenge mbapati aina Binga mbani so imanyina aswa mumwida so mwani ke kulisigale
uliya muntu wali muntu ulaluzibo maningi maybe ukuzobona kuti oyo muntu konja kuzonditolera sigalenge wakabona kuti is better kuti ndimupirira ndawita kwe bantu because wakalinda ila akati itakwe bantu pe okusaiti kwakati syansali katujiri mulwisi kokumupa abantu kuti goya okakalogo kabe mwami naga kukalogia abingi banini nina aba bakazotobera futi bayinkagogia ende wakali muntu ulaluzibo kubona ndati eyo time chijindi nikwakanonga oyo mushobo wa malozi ku Zambia balabola batola bantu but we wali kuziba before kabatanasi ulabuzi abantu kuti mutanteze runtu konko ati kama sika malozi bazojala myonzi ruzuti we bantu kaba mu January abantu bali kuli ulababuzya kuti bagamumvwa kuti muzabuza bakachija mu popular bwagwe dobola wakali ibami ba mwimbuli like syachiraba insyansali kaziti site alugwasha ndo akali kugwasha kuzibisha ma enemies bakali bamutolanga ngumwami mupati kuli mbabo.
Communal memory is passed on from generation to generation. But, like many aspects of African history, the original name Binga has lost its meaning to the new generation of the Batonga people.
Tusipe utiwaza utien. Mwa wamba pesote tuziwote dinyamata tusipe.
Mfidopera nsinda kwa kuti ino ndayitegwa Chief Binga. I mean Ivana Binga, mbe Chief Binga. Yaka swa kutegwa kambo ijindi wakali kuendelesha ngusigalenge. Poni bakamuvulira abantu. Sigalenge ngwaka okasopa dobola. Po wasotiwe dobola yebo endelesha okumukula nawe. Po uyu mwasoti kuli Binga. Guli simwami Binga banike bagwe Binga yebo tola aba yebo gendelesha.
Sigalenge mpatu wa chindi. Nibabona ati bavujana ba misikachiraba ensyansali. Wakati no bantu bezera nyigeso. So it's better ubinge majembera kugamba ati Binga that's to drive kutola abantu kuzwa kuli mwinda kulokubatola kuli mumbi busena.
Kutegwa kuzobe Binga uli barali tangunu ali akuti kuli kubinga ekubinga uli kubinga mpongo.
While some narratives on the place name Binga are getting lost along the way due to generational gaps, some narratives are actually disputed by those that lay a challenging claim to the Binga chieftaincy.